Ghanaians are gearing up to cast their votes in tomorrow's presidential and parliamentary elections. President Nana Akufo-Addo is being challenged by former President John Mahama and 10 other candidates. This will be the third time that President Nana Akufo-Addo and his predecessor John Mahama square up against each other. They have won a term each, and Monday's vote is expected to be won within very small margins. Meanwhile, former President Kgalema Motlanthe will be leading the African Union Election Observer Mission during Ghana's national elections. The deployment of observers is in line with the AU's mandate of promoting and deepening democratic elections. The mission must make an independent and impartial assessment of the presidential and parliamentary votes in accordance with the principles of free and fair elections. While the focus of tomorrow's vote in Ghana is squarely on the President Nana Akufo-Addo and his old rival John Mahama, many voters are also paying more attention to a new element in the political mix, the first ever female vice-presidential candidate for a major party. Former Education Minister Prof.Jane Naana Opoku-Agyemang is running as a candidate for Vice President of Ghana's main opposition, the National Democratic Congress, which is led by John Mahama. West Africa's second-largest economy has one of the highest levels of women-owned businesses in the world, yet just 13% of parliamentary seats are held by women. My colleague Peter Ndoro caught up with Professor Opoku-Agyemang, and they began their conversation by exploring the role of women in Ghanaian politics.
A very important time in your country's history. Tomorrow, elections are in play, but also an important time for you personally and your party, having a female running mate of a major party for the very first time. And you're that person making history. Tell us about that.
Well, as I've said elsewhere, one has to be mindful of the burden of history, of making history, and of what it implies. And I think a lot depends on the vision, the reasons for accepting the offer, and what you think it can do for others, and then also for yourself. Yes, of course, being the first female running mate in a major party has its own doses of excitement. It also has its challenges. Being the first anywhere has its challenges, and I plan to live up to the expectations.
Why do you think it's taken so long for Ghana to get to this point? You were also a groundbreaker in becoming the first vice-chancellor of a major state university. It seems that women have taken quite a while to be allowed to sit at the table, as it were, in this way.
I think that many reasons account for this. And I look at some of the institutions that we have inherited, some imposed on us, and many of them combining to create a certain image of the woman. Because if you look at our history, you'll notice that women have been in everything, whether it's medicine, whether it's architecture, law, name it, women have been there. But with the recent introduction of institutions, and if you look at the dates when those institutions were established and where they came from, and if you look at the status of women in those societies, you begin to have a certain picture. And of course, it has happened for hundreds of years. So all of these combine to build a certain image about what it is that women have recently been seen to be doing and what it is that they cannot do. And therefore, I'm not surprised, because let's say that the formal political system began with men, has been sustained with men, and so women have been very and and not only in the political system, even in many areas of study, of endeavor, medicine, law, and yet we have traditional people who settle cases. So I think it's been a bit of I won't call it a conflict, but it's like two trains running. It's like two trains running, and the parallel lines, of course, not meeting. So what we have to do now is to make those lines meet. and to let us know that, yes, we can fertilize, we can cross-fertilize, we can work with, and that it shouldn't surprise us. So yes, it's taken a long time also because of the nature of the terrain. First, it's like you're not expected to be there. That's the first thing. And therefore, you take your steps very, very cautiously, not knowing whether the water is going to be hot or cold. And so that in itself is a challenge. And then when you're making these steps, you don't do them on your own. What support are you going to get? Who is going to believe you? Who's going to support you? Who's going to encourage you? And what do you see ahead of you? When you look around your own society, what do you see? And trying to be different always comes at a cost. And I remember one of Opoku-Agyemang's novels. It's like being different in itself is a burden of salt. Because like we are all in this place, we are all comfortable. Even if we are not, we are murmuring and it's okay.
Yes. Professor, you've been on the campaign trail, you've been to all the regions in the country and have met a lot of women. And I'm sure that when they see you, they have great expectations. What are they telling you that they want, need, and expect you to deliver as Vice President should you get elected?
They keep saying, don't forget us. And it's something that, it's repeated almost everywhere. Don't forget us, don't forget us. So once I asked one woman, what do you mean, don't forget us? They said, many people come to campaign, promise this and that. They go in there and they forget us. And I remind them of how we did our manifesto. I said, we did our manifesto with you. Everything in the manifesto has come from all of us. We didn't do the manifesto for you. We did the manifesto with you. So what it is that you expect is already reflected in the manifesto. So what we need now is your support to get where we can put this manifesto into action. So that sort of calms them. I've had lots of young little girls come, I want to be like you. And I tell them, no, you can be better than me. Don't put your dreams, don't put a ceiling on your dreams. Whatever you want to be, just work for it. It's not enough to dream to be like somebody. You must work for it. You must have a plan. And then I keep telling them, you may not even succeed in where you want to get, but that's not the issue. The issue is more applicable in the process than in the destination. So you enjoy school, enjoy what you're doing. If it's fashion, if it's whatever it is important. First, you must enjoy doing it. Second, it must be of help to somebody. It should be fair, it should be legal, and it should inure to you too. So if you can follow these and do the right things all the time, and I think that is also important in reaching your potential. Yes. But in terms of the details, we have small-scale traders, we have farmers, women farmers who don't have access to land. We have women who need credit. And I keep saying that, yes, we've done this credit thing for a long time. We need to find other ways of ensuring that you are self-sufficient. So you don't always have to go and borrow, not even to make your business grow, but to make your business stay where it is, just to survive. So we need to have new plans so that you can become independent, because Ghanaian women want to be independent. So we need to highlight that and make sure that happens. Maybe not in 4 years,
all right,
but you can start putting the building blocks there together.
You were Minister of Education in the last administration that the NDC ran. And so education has been something very close to your heart and you've been passionate about. Are there other areas that you would like to work on if you get elected this time around?
Yeah, of course. I'm interested in women's health, children's health. I'm interested in issues of security. I'm interested in opportunity. And that is why I was so passionate about education, because it lays the grounds for opportunities to occur. I'm interested in people believing in themselves. We need to believe that we are capable of solving our problems and in ensuring that happens. And I did a bit of that at the university because I've always believed that. At the university, I didn't think that I should be going to the Minister for Education asking for money. I kept telling my faculty, listen, I don't like to beg. If we are all of us here, so-called intelligent people with our students, then we should be creating the solutions that others can learn from us. And we did 3 very good things with water, with detergents, and going on even to convert all the paper waste on campus into paper products. And I thought, just to let the students see something else beyond their certificates, that this is possible, that you can turn the things around you into solutions instead of you, after all the money that has been spent on you from parents and government and so on, you shouldn't be sitting there asking for. You should be providing so that those who've never been so fortunate will learn from you and know that it is possible. So for me, it's the question of possibilities, of opening opportunities, of helping people to believe that, yes, they can also do it.
So, research has shown that corporations that have more women in the boardroom tend to perform better. Do you think that will be the same in government? What energy can you bring to the administration table, you think, that could help the administration?
That's not even being personal. As you said, research has already established that. And our former president used to say that those women, not that the men didn't perform, they also did the best they could, but the women he put in certain positions also did very, very well. And I think it's a question of perspectives. On the campaign trail, I've explained that, it's not as if our men are selfish or cruel. No, that's not the case. That's just how they see things. And I've always used the example of, let's say, in a boardroom, you have 10 men and the company has made profit. And these 10 guys are deciding where should the profit go. And I wouldn't be surprised if sports is a big part of where the profit should go. And that's because that's what they do, that's what they enjoy. And yes, we enjoy sports too, but we don't always have the time to sit and enjoy the game. So assuming that instead of 10 men, you had 5 women, or even 4 women and 6 men, even 3 women and 7 men, then if they are talking about where should the profit go, maybe the football will come up all the time. But assuming the woman can also say, how about a daycare? Because I'm worried about where I leave my child. I want somebody who is properly trained, knows how to take care of a child, not just somebody, random person walking in the neighborhood, not knowing anything to do, that I can employ to take care of my child. So you see that she may bring that perspective. Another person may say, okay, why don't you do a playground for the school? Or after school programs. Or how about the market? It's always in an open place at the mercy of the weather. Why can't we go and roof this place? So it will be the profit being used all right. But these 2 perspectives, I think, put together will give a richer conclusion than going to one place. Not that there's anything wrong with the sports. My son shouldn't hear me say anything about football. That is not palatable, but that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that we will bring different experiences, different perspectives, and in the end, the society will be better off. The board will be better off. If there's a board member sitting there making a contribution and not worrying about what her baby is eating, I'm sure all her attention can come to the work, and in the end, the corporation will be even better off. So these are some of the things I think about.
All right. So the biggest problem, in fact, Ghana scores very highly in many areas in terms of press freedom, which I'm very excited about as a journalist. The economy is doing well. The one area that's a problem has been corruption. The Ghana chapter of Transparency International suggests that you lose as much as $3 billion a year through corruption. How are you going to manage corruption if you win this election? Because a lot of Ghanaians will be looking towards that as one of the big ticket items to be dealt with.
Actually, if you ask me, I'll say it's the biggest item. A small country like Ghana. Listen, I have been around this country, as you said at the beginning, and I've seen things that have made me not even sorrowful, but angry. That in this 21st century, on a few days into 25% of the time gone, and 20% of the time gone, and we still have people living like this, and you can still waste this kind of money. I don't think this is on, and I don't think this should continue. In our previous time, our president dealt decisively with people that were accused of being corrupt. And I want that to continue. I'll support that to continue. People ought to understand the implications of that, okay? And it's not just, it's the public service, it's the private service, it's all of us. We all need to understand what it means not to do the right thing. We all need to understand what it means to encourage waste, encourage corruption, get more than you deserve. And and I don't think that's just a moral imperative. It is necessary that we put things right. And I think that the most important way, there may be other ways, just hold people to account. Don't make excuses for people. Don't make people feel they can get away when they misuse state resources. Because the resources are state, they are not private. Even your own private resources are judiciously kept because you want them to last. So, and I think that we should move to a stage where you don't go into politics because you think it is easy to loot the state and get away with it. And I think this goes for all of us on this continent. We've been at the back burner for too long. And every time we hear, Ghana has potential, I'm tired of that. We have potential, so what? What is that potential translating into a quality of life for the person in the village? And what quality of life, should he wait 5 generations to hear about potential? I don't think so. Contracts should be properly signed, whether in country or with external people. All of these, and if we feel we don't have the personnel, train them. Train the personnel, is it law, wherever. Train them and train them properly. And let them have the confidence to go and be able to defend their country like everybody else does. Everyone is looking after their own interests. You cannot be there looking after somebody's interest and then expect to grow. You cannot be in a country producing things you have no use of, and therefore you don't even decide how much it is worth. Some things have to be reset. It's not going to be easy. I don't expect it's going to be a cup of tea or a cocktail party. But just beginning to talk about it, I think is important. Bringing it to the public discourse is important, I think.
All right. So some people might say, what is the job of a vice president? In some countries, it is actually ceremonial. I'm sure if you get elected, you're going to make sure that it isn't. But tell us what you see the role of a vice president is in your country, and how you will assume that role.
Okay, let me say that, yes, you are a vice president, okay? You are there to support the president. But the important thing is for the two of you to have a common vision. You must agree on the vision. Where do you think our country should go? And His Excellency and I have had several conversations on that. Where are we here? Where should we get and how should we get there? So once you share that vision, you can support each other that way. Different pressures may be brought to bear on different people, maybe him or myself. But I think once we are communicating well and keeping that vision afloat, we ought to make some progress. So yeah, the ceremonial thing will come for him and for me too, but that shouldn't be all there is. This is not, I don't want to use words that may sound disparaging, but I think there's a lot of work. You're a vice president, yes, just like I was a minister before, but you are also in some kind of advisory position. You are also in some kind of position where you share ideas. This is what is happening in my ministry. This is what I'm doing. What do you think of it? So that you're all on the same page at any given time. And we need to recognize that in our country, we have a lot of work to do. People shouldn't be living like that.
Professor, Opoku-Agyemang, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so, so much for giving us this opportunity. We wish you the best of luck tomorrow, and let's see what the Ghanaians have heard and what they decide.
Thanks for having me. It's been a joy.
Thank you so much. Medasi.
Mendasi.
Bye-bye.